190s Porsche predicted electric hypercars, and it's not the 959. Stick around 18 minutes or you'll miss the car that still embarrasses 2025 tech.
One of these beasts was so ahead of its time, it predicted electric hypercars by a decade, and I'll spill which one only if you ride this out with me. Buckle up, gearheads, cause we're rediving into the 6 most over-engineered Porsches of that wild decade, bulletproof icons that make your inner 16-year-old weep with envy. If you're new here on Gearhead Garage, where we chase the ghosts in the machine like it's our last lap, smash that sub button and let's roll. Alright, let's kick the tires on number 6, the 964 Turbo. That snarling wolf in sheep's clothing from 90 to 94. Remember when turbos were still voodoo, and Porsche said, "Hold my wife's beer"? They hung a 3.3-liter flat 6 out back with a single KKK turbo that spooled like a demon on steroids, 315 horses, 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds flat. But the real madness, all-wheel drive in a 911. Before it was cool. We're talking adjustable suspension that reads the road like a psychic, and brakes from the 959 that could pin you to the seat harder than a bad breakup. I once thrashed a bone stock 93 on a foggy twist through the Black Forest, felt like the car was driving me, whispering, "Trust me, I've got this." Compared to a contemporary Corvette, that yank was raw power on training wheels. The 964 was a scalpel in a bar fight. Overkill, hell yes. But that's why these things outlive their owners. Rust-free zombies haunting collector auctions for 200 grand easy. Sliding into 5, the 928 GTS Porsche's Grand Tour that flipped the bird to the 911 purists. In 92 front-engine V8, they crammed a 5.4-liter, all-aluminum beast, making 345 horses, with 4 valves per cylinder and a dry-sumped oil system that could have lubed a small army, but dig deeper. Variable valve timing that adjusted on the fly, like the engine was mood-reading your right foot. And a chassis so rigid it laughed off potholes, that'd snap a Maserati's spine. I remember spotting one at a 95 LA man's reunion, sun dipping low, and that quad exit exhaust burbling like a jazz solo, pure poetry. Against the Testarossa Ferrari's flat 12 was a diva. The 928 was the reliable road warrior that haul your ass from Stuttgart to Sicily without a whimper. These swamped today's Cayennes and tech bulletproof Weissbrod heads that never warp. Engines ticking over at 300k miles like they owe you money. Underrated gem, fetching 50k now, but man, the soul in that growl. Now, 4, the 911 GT2, the 95 Evo that turned homologation special into a street-legal missile. Twin-turbo 3.6 flat 6, stripped to the bone, no rear seats, no AC, just 430 horses, and a top end kissing 190 miles per hour. Over-engineered, they built it to dominate GT racing, so the chassis got carbon Kevlar reinforcements, massive vents sucking air, like a black hole, and brakes co-developed with racing wizards that faded less than your ex's promises. I test drove a rebuilt 96 once, wind howling through the cage, and it hooked up so vicious on corner exit, I swear the tires screamed mercy. Think Lamborghini Diablo. That Italian was flash and fury. The GT2 was surgical precision, a scalpel slicing through apexes. Only 57 Evos built rarer than a honest politician, and they're climbing past 400k at auction. Porsche's mad scientists didn't just engineer a car, they bottled Apocalypse Now speed, and it still feels alive under your hands. Hitting 3, the 968, the transaxle terror from 91 to 95 that Porsche snuck in as a 944 swan song but loaded with wizardry. 3.0-liter inline-4 with variable intake resonance, pumping 236 horses through a cable-shift 6-speed that snicked like a but the overkill crown. That all-aluminum body shell, lighter than a feather, yet stiffer than a vegan's diet, and a rear transaxle setup that balanced 50/50ths without a computer nanny. Drove one up the Stelvio once at Don Tires, singing on those hairpins, engine pulling like it had magnets in the bores. Versus the Mazda RX-7. That rotary was a screamer, sure, but thirsty and fragile. The 968 was the marathon runner, sipping fuel and begging for abuse. These hidden garages, overlooked, but pop 40,000 today with maintenance logs thicker than a novel. Heartbreaker of an underdog, proving Porsche could front-engine finesse without selling out. Number 2, the Boxster 96's mid-engine savior, that yanked Porsche from bankruptcy's jaws. Don't scoff. Under that Targa top lurked a 2.5-liter flat 4, 4 cylinders, but tuned like a banshee, with individual throttle bodies, per bank variable intake cams, and a chassis born from 959 data that cornered like it was on rails overbuilt. The entire platform shared 911 bones, letting Zuffenhausen test water cooling tricks before the 996 sacrilege. I flogged a 97S on Mulholland at dusk, top down, Pacific crashing Bielefeld, like flying without wings, that flat hum vibrating your soul. Stack it against a Miata? Fun. Yeah, but the Boxster was Miata on growth hormones, with crash structures that'd cradle you through a rollover like a mother's hug. saved the company, sold like hotcakes, and now 20K steals that drive like dreams. Porsche's Sly Fox, engineering a revolution disguised as a budget thrill. And finally, the one that's haunted my garage dreams since I was a kid, flipping through the over-engineering Apex. It was a Group C refugee homologated with 20 road cars that Porsche practically gave away 2 racers' bulletproof internals that won 98 Le Mans outright. I caught a Strassen version at Pebble Beach once. That low-slung snarl, idling like thunder, nearly wept, compared to McLaren's F1. That Brit was a lounge lizard. The GT1 was raw, unfiltered fury, a time machine too when Porsche ruled endurance. Values? 8 figures now? Rarer than hen's teeth. And yeah, that electric tease. It's battery tech foreshadowed, Taken's wild, right? Phew, what a ride through the 90s Porsche fever dream machines that didn't just move you, they rewired your pulse. Makes you wonder, in this era of software nanny DVs, are we losing that raw overbuilt soul that made driving an addiction? Hit the comments. What's your holy grail from that decade? And would you daily a GT1 if money rained? If this fired up your pistons? Like sub, ring the bell, we're just getting warmed up. Next time, we crack open the 80s Japanese tuners that embarrassed supercars. Drive safe, stay passionate. Fade to black.